This week on the FragRant, I'm going to be ranting about flankers. I mean, what are they? And do we really need them? Did you know that 33% of all new fragrances released this year have been flankers? I mean, you walk into any fragrance store or perfumery, or you go shopping online and you're hit with this barrage of similar bottles with similar names and similar notes. To make matters worse, there's a current trend amongst fragrance houses and design houses to release the pillar fragrance and then they'll release the flanker at the same time. Sometimes not just one flanker, but 2, 3 and 4 flankers, all with a pillar fragrance, all at the same time. And if you venture out into the fragrance community, things can get even more confusing. Views are really polarised. Some people love flankers, some people hate them. Some people think they're an essential part of their fragrance collection, other people think they're nothing but a big waste of money. So amidst all this confusion, we really do run the risk of missing out on some absolutely fabulous fragrances. So stay with me while I give you some hints and tips and some tools to help you navigate the minefield that is the fragrance flanker. Now, the first flankers appeared on the market in the 1970s. I think it was Nina Ricci that brought out the very first flankers, but I'm not quite sure. If you know, please let me know in the comments below. However, in its broadest sense, a flanker is a newly created fragrance that shares some attributes in common with an already existing fragrance. Now, that's the Wikipedia entry for it. But in a more detailed sense, there are 3 types of flankers, and the first is the concentration flanker. Now, a concentration flanker is where they alter the potency of the fragrance. They can either increase the dilution, which will give you an EDT, or they can decrease the dilution, which will give you the EDP. It's a bit like turning the volume up and down on your record player. And that's showing my age. Spinal tap.
The numbers all go to 11. Look, right across the board. 11, 11,
and most of
11.
They can also add and subtract various ingredients and essences within the fragrance in order to boost various areas of the fragrance's performance. It's a bit like tweaking the graphic equalizer. For example, they may add patchouli into the base, or they may subtract the oak moss, all to keep within the same basic fragrance smell, but to boost the potency of the fragrance. Examples of the concentration flanker include things like the Bleu de Chanel Parfum, where it worked, or the Dior Sauvage EDP, where it sadly didn't. So the second kind of flanker is the note or the accord flanker. And as the name suggests, they've changed a note or an accord to create a new fragrance that has a similar DNA running through it as the original fragrance, but repurposed for a new occasion. So for example, either a summer fragrance or a fragrance for the evening. Now, a good example of this is the Valentino Uomo, where you've got bergamot, myrtle, coffee, chocolate, hazelnut and a beautiful, beautiful leather running through it along with cedar. And then you have the flanker, the Valentino Intense, where you've got mandarin, clary sage, iris, tonka, the leather again and vanilla. Then you have the aqua, which has got mandarin, green tomato, sage, patchouli, leather and iris. Now, all 3 fragrances have the same DNA running through them. They're all related, they all have a similar background smell to them. However, each one is slightly different for a different purpose. So you've got the aqua for the summer. You have the intense for the evening, the autumn or the winter. And then you have the pillar fragrance, the original Valentino Uomo. I will wear it in the autumn, but for the autumn and for the winter. Now, the final kind of flanker is a marketing flanker. Now, this fragrance will bear no relation whatsoever to the original pillar fragrance, other than perhaps the bottle or the name. The fragrance house or the design house is simply making use of a pre-existing commodity in order to sell the new fragrance. So when it comes to flankers, there are no hard and fast rules. Fragrance and design houses will borrow elements from each group to create the fragrance that they're after. So for example, In the Wanted by Azzaro here, we've got the Wanted and we've got the Wanted by Night. In the Wanted, it opens with lemon. We've got cardamom and we've got vetiver. In the Wanted by Night, it opens with cardamom and then we've got leather and we've got tobacco. Cardamom the common note, similar bottle designs and similar names. So what about those tools that I promised you? Well, you have the three most important tools already. That's this, these and that. That's your head, your eyes and your nose. The most crucial tip when buying any fragrance, be it pillar or flanker, is to get your nose on it. With a flanker, start with a pillar fragrance. If you don't have it in your collection, then get yourself a sample. Borrow a friend's bottle, but get your nose on it first. Never ever ever blind buy a fragrance. You wouldn't buy a car without looking under the hood, so don't buy a fragrance without smelling it. Once you have your sample of the pillar fragrance, you now have a baseline to work from, and it's now time to go and do your homework. Is the new flanker a concentration, note or marketing flanker? If it's a concentration flanker, how have they pumped up or turned down the volume? Is it stronger or weaker than the original? Is it supposed to be stronger or weaker than the original? Is it a note or a chord flanker? What have they added or taken away? How have the notes changed and is it for the better? If it's a marketing flanker, does the bottle fit with the rest of your collection? So I'm almost out of time. If you've enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe. Please leave me a comment. Let me know if I missed anything out. Did I get it right? What are your opinions on flankers? Are there too many of them? A valuable addition to your collection or just a waste of money? Let me know what you think in the comments below and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.